audience of buyers is one of the most fundamental investments you can make in your business. And yet a lot of people think that the investment comes in from buying leads, buying a sales team, or spending big budgets in advertising, whether that's paid ads or other types of visibility strategies. And I will tell you that's not the only way to do it. And in fact, I would advocate to hold off on those kinds of big investments until much later in your business journey, when the money you're spending can have a higher ROI. On today's episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin, I'm going to give you 6 strategies to help you build connection. And connection at the heart is the best currency you can have in your business. I want to lay the foundation before I jump right into the deep end. And it's a simple truth that is important to know. Number 1 is your business will be built on strangers, and you need to have intentional strategies at the very highest priority, building an audience of buyers. The second thing to really understand in the world of the business foundations is that before you throw money at something, you need to test it. You need to have a minimal viable product. And what that means is you have an audience who you've been able to spark curiosity, that you've been able to move to in curiosity to paid investment, and you've been able to do it not occasionally, but consistently. Because until you fine tune that journey, throwing money at something is a waste of time. The third thing I want you to know from a simple 50,000 feet foundation level is that if you are going to add in investment, you need to do it once you've had a minimal viable product established. And you need to remember, who are you competing against in the competitor landscape? Because if you're going to compete for the same platforms, for the same eyeballs, for the same audience as a big guru who has millions and millions and millions of dollars to spend every single month on advertising, your money will be like a drop in the bucket. And I'm going to encourage you to do something else instead and to be really targeted when you get to that level. So with those 3 foundations kind of setting the scene, I want to show you how you can use, with low cost, 6 simple strategies to create connection that builds currency to create amplification in your business. So the first one is recognizing that you can borrow somebody else's room. And that is simply often looked at as social media. And social media is a love and hate game for most business owners. And I'm going to give you a lens in which I want you to look at social media and to play in that space effectively. The first is, if you are just in the growth phase and you're looking for consistent client growth, I want you to simplify your social media strategy. What I want you to do is pick a lane and get to be an expert and understand how to execute well, how to build that minimal viable product on one platform. Because here's the truth. Your client exists on every social media platform out there. But doing the same thing on every social media platform and simply regurgitating yourself all over the place is a waste of time. Because those that will follow you on one platform, there's no extra value other than time wasted in seeing you and do the same thing on multiple platforms. What's important to recognize about social media and choosing a lane is that you need to know, what do you stand for? And optimize the story that you share on that platform. And what I mean by that is, what do you need to say? What's the result that person needs to hear? What is the time frame and next step you want them to take? And if you can dial that in, it's the first step in the stepping stones towards moving somebody from curiosity to paid client. And if you are already in the world where you might have more than one social media platform, but you don't feel you're an expert at owning one platform yet, I do want you to not jump into all the platforms, but I do want you to audit right now. Do you have the same storyline on all of your touch points? Because often we don't, and it leads to confusion. And we know this truth, that a confused mind will never buy. And if I can't see you and see the same brand, the same logo, the same word, the same audience, the same messaging across multiple platforms, I start to have a seed of doubt in my brain. And I go, I don't know if that's the same person. And if I'm not sure, I'm not going to ask. I'm simply going to walk away. And what I see time and time again when we do a simple social media audit is that there is huge incongruencies. You're trying to build a business, for example, on LinkedIn, and you're directing people to Instagram, but your Instagram is private. You don't talk about your business at all. Or you have a big Instagram presence, and I find you over at LinkedIn and you don't even publicly say that you have a job because maybe, or you're in business because you have a job. People are looking for the first impression. You need it to be a trusted one. So scale back the social media plethora, focus and dial into one platform and become an expert at it, knowing your audience is on every platform. And then I want you to optimize not what you need to hear and say to justify yourself, but the other side of the picture. What do they need to see, hear, and what are they looking for? And can I help them identify they're in the right room and should spend some time here on that social platform with me? So that's strategy number one, borrow somebody else's audience by being on an optimized social media strategy. Number two is to post and be active in social media. Social media moves very quickly, and you can choose the speed at which you post, but I want you to be thinking about what are you saying as more important than how often are you saying it. And earlier here on Amplify Your Marketing Message, there is a podcast episode about the 4 content pillars you need to be using and the recommended mix of content execution to gain clients. I want you to go find that episode if you've missed it and watch it, because figuring out what to say and the lens in which you say it is the most important thing to your posting strategy. And then you choose the speed at which you want to post, staying in the game, recognizing that only a very small percent of the room will ever see your content. So it is okay to repurpose. It is okay to use the same content, but you do want to make sure that you have a very clear strategy and not just, well, I'm ticking the box. Because if you're ticking the box with no strategy, the tactic is a waste of time. Okay, so that's strategy number 2, is to post on social media. And picking, again, that lane is really important. Send people to one destination and be the expert on it. Number 3 is to recognize, we've said it before here on the platform, but your business will be built on strangers. And it's really important that you have the leadership to recognize that in a room, we're all terrified to go talk to strangers. And so I want you to engage. I want you to be the first person to lean in, not with a half-baked idea of a like or a simple, emojicon. I want you to go in with thoughtful presence and add value. And I want you to be the first. And when you do this on social media platforms, you will start to see conversation. And I said, conversation is currency. I particularly play a lot on LinkedIn. It's one of my key platforms because I support B2B business owners. B2B business owners are on LinkedIn. That's where they play. That's where they engage. And I know that platform. What do I know about that platform? LinkedIn prioritizes content that creates conversation. So what do? I both put thoughtful content that sparks conversation out into it. And secondly, I am actively engaging in thoughtful contribution to the conversation. And that amplifies the amount of exposure I get. So simple things like that can make a really big difference. But engaging and leading the engagement with thoughtful, high-value posts will really help you reach more eyeballs. Number 4 is to recognize that groups of common interests can be an important place in your puzzle. You can find groups online, you can find them in real life, and you can also create them. Okay, this is an important part of the puzzle that I think some people often miss. And they think one day I'll have this, reputation and I can create a room. I said, no, create the room at the beginning if you can't find it. That's actually what I did in my own business. I am actively involved in groups. One of the most important questions I ask when I'm out networking is, what other groups should I be aware of? And would you introduce me or take me to them and give me that exposure? And I also create groups. And back when I started my very first business in 2018, I noticed a trend right away, which was most of my peers at that time did not have buy-in from their partners. Many people had doubt that my group, these people I was building a business with would succeed. And so that doubt just really, really not only messed with their mind, but it led many people to quit the field. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to create a safe space for emerging entrepreneurs, for people to put their hand up and say, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I don't know yet. And I want to publicly say I'm in business, but I don't want all the heckling crowd to potentially cost me my dream. So I built a Facebook community, and this is my invitation for you to come join it. I run a Facebook community. It is private, which means you can post anything in it respectfully, and it doesn't end up in your feed. It's also a space for you to find resources, for you to find free coaching from me every single week and thoughtful, provoking ideas to head into the weekends. It is a place for you to network, and it is called How to Scale a Six-Figure Business and Beyond for Entrepreneurs. I will put the link for that community down below. Please, if you need a community and safe space, come join it. But I also want you to hear is that if you don't find the communities that would serve what you want to serve, create it. Turn the light on and be the beacon, because chances are if you find there's a gap and you struggled, somebody else needs you to go first. Have the courage and self-leadership to do that. But groups is the fourth strategy I want you to be recognizing to create conversation, and conversation is currency. Number 5 is to use your expertise and to create and publish an opinion. And that can be done in newsletters, whether those are digital through an email system, or even in the form of a blog post, which you can either host and or be a guest blogger on somebody else's platform. The important part about long form content is that you give tremendous value and you have a call to action, which is one simple next step. I'm going to invite you to not make it complicated, but to invite them to your ecosystem, which should be the website that you have under your business. People want to know, are you authentically in business? They're going to check your social media against your business. They're going to want to know that you're not hiding behind a Gmail account, a fly-by-night business owner. That is going to have some level of substance. And you always want to bring people into your ecosystem because that is where you control the conversation. But positioning yourself as a thought leader and positioning yourself and being open, public, and visible with your opinion will do one of two things. It will call people directly to you, which is your audience of buyers down the road and in the short term, and they will repel the people that are not your audience. Both of those are hugely valuable. So I want you to think about how can you publish in newsletters, in blog posts, in magazines, and you have lots of great free PR opportunities to get your voice in front of new people, okay? The final of the 6 strategies to build your visibility and to craft that audience of buyers is to ask other people to be the voice for you. What I mean by that is to have them recommend you, have them write testimonials, have them be the introduction into new spaces for you. And remember, this is such an important thing you should always be curating in your business because social proof has so much weight in the marketplace. And so, one, when somebody says, can I do something for you? You can say, yes, you know what? Could you publish something about me? Could you put this on your social media feed? Could you endorse me in a public way? Could you write a LinkedIn recommendation if you've been through my resources, courses? Even if it's not a paying client, come on, all of that really matters. And secondly, self-leadership again comes to the fore here. I want you to lean in and ask. Every month, you should be adding new recommendations to your social proof. You should be using them on social media. You should be using them by way of introduction. And you should be using them, of course, in your own ecosystem, which is the website that you own. It's the hub of your business. Let's recap where we're at. Until you have a minimal viable product, spending your way to leads and paid ads is a waste of time. Strongly held opinion by me. I want you to help you build a minimal viable product by using these 6 strategies. They are optimize your social media, post on social media with a very targeted strategy, focusing on what are you saying and how are you saying it Not so much just on, I did post something today. I want you to be engaging, thoughtful, creative, adding value, and setting your reputation as not just a like and an emoji. Raise the game or don't play at all. I want you to think about joining groups or creating your own. And I want you to use thought leadership and publish, get PR working for you, and finally get other people to advocate on your behalf with public endorsements. These 6 strategies will help you fine tune. They'll help you connect to more people. And I tell people this all the time, and I remind my clients as much as I remind myself, the most important thing you can do in your business is build an audience of buyers. This is an ever needed part of the puzzle. So much so that even when you have high momentum, you are still spending 50% of your time on this every single day. And if you are still struggling to get to minimal viable products and you're not seeing profitable, consistent growth in your business, this is it. 70 to 80% of your time, stop everything else because they're just distractions. Use these 6 strategies to fine-tune your craft. Fine-tune the message. Fine-tune how do you create value so that you can do it predictably. And once you've got this awesome foundation, keep the heartbeat close because it can move out of sync as you are moving. You're evolving, your service offering is evolving. You need to continue to check, is it optimized? Adjust accordingly. You need to recognize your audience is also shifting and moving and getting into new ideas. Are you optimized for them? Once you get to that place and you continue to check in, then you can amplify with buying space. And that can be sponsorship. That can be paying to get into more elevated rooms of your highly targeted audience. It can be paying for advertising. It can be paying for a sales team to go out and help you build the business. You get to choose how you scale. But just remember, spending early on generic terms using the same strategies as the big gurus who have millions of dollars to spend is crazy. I watch people throw money at the short, easy win, only to find out it's a loss, financially and in time. Use these 6 strategies to build connection. Speaking, connection, conversation are the currency that will fuel your business long-term. Business can be elegantly simple. I want to remind you to come join us in the community on Facebook that is about scaling your business to 6 figures and beyond for service-based entrepreneurs. You can sit in my room until you're ready to stand. You can connect and see these 6 strategies in my business. Visit my website. I'd love to have your perspective on what you see. And if you find that you need support, my name is Campbell Rapin. I'm the owner of Clear Acceleration. I am here to support you. Be sure to subscribe to Amplify Your Marketing Message. Share it. Help someone else you know be more impactful in the world of business, because together we are stronger. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be hard, but that minimal viable product and how you choose to show up is up to you. I will see you all on our next episode. Until then, I hope to see you in my community. I will see you soon.